Welcome back to Deadball TV, everybody. We're going to be breaking down the Conmebol World Cup qualifiers. We just cannot get away from this federation. The Copa America destroyed our entire lives, and now we're back to rehash it all over again with the World Cup qualifiers. So, guys, if you enjoy videos about Conmebol, make sure you hit subscribe, smash the like button. If you're listening on streaming platforms, please give the podcast a 5-star rating. I think we have like 96 reviews, so we need 4 more to get to 100. So if you guys could get us over the line, that would be great. And of course, follow along in the comments as we give our predictions and analysis, expert analysis only for each game. Let's start with Colombia versus Peru in Lima. You want to give the little synopsis of this one, Connor?
Colombia, Peru in Lima. God, I was really hoping we'd have a little lead up to this because I just didn't want to abandon this country that I love so much immediately. My one note
you didn't want
this,
the Peruvians to click off this early.
Yeah, correct. Because they're my boys.
Oh.
They're my brothers from another mother. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel very in touch with the culture. I love the country. Can't wait to visit it someday. Got the best food. Top 3, top 4 cuisines in the world.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
My one note that I have for this is that Colombia is saving themselves for the Argentina match. So this could go very, very poorly for Peru because Colombia could show up, and there's 2 ways this goes. Either Colombia takes it easy and they're just, acclimatizing, they're getting their groove back, they're looking to get their mojo back slowly, right? Peacefully. They don't want any injuries, they don't want any cards, they don't want anything like that. So they take it easy. And we end up with a 1-0, right? There's another world where the Colombians come back and they're furious. They're bloodlusted. They've got something to prove. They're angry and they get it started now. And I think they leave with a 2-0. That's my personal take. I think this is a massacre. I don't think Peru gets up for this game.
Yeah, we're talking about the lowest scoring offense in World Cup qualifying, Peru. 1 game, 1 goal from 6 games, going up against the Copa America finalists and the top scoring team at the Copa America in Colombia. A Colombian side that will be looking to leapfrog Uruguay in the Conmebol standings from this window due to, the Uruguayan suspensions, which we'll get to when we preview those matches. I will say I thought Peru, at least defensively, looked a little bit better at the Copa America, but I still think offensively this team is completely dead. Like, finished, cooked, overcooked, well done. I mean, the steak is ruined. Can't even eat it anymore.
They don't have anything.
What have they got to give? Now, weirdly, this was kind of like the outlier result of the entire qualifying campaign last cycle. Somehow Colombia, who didn't even qualify, and Peru did, let's remember, Colombia went into Lima and won 3-0 last cycle. How that happened exactly, I don't recall. I don't know if it's going to be that bad. I have Colombia 2, Peru 0. Is my prediction for this one.
Same exact prediction.
Yeah. And I'm going to conclude by saying until Colombia start running up the score in qualifiers, I'm going to keep having pretty conservative score lines for them. Like they put it on at the Copa, but they haven't put it on in qualifying yet. And it's kind of rare for teams to put it on in qualifying because it's so tough. Uruguay got the most goals with 13 from 6 matches. That's like just over 2 goals per game.
And it's a marathon. It's a marathon. Colombia doesn't want to come in here, play their absolute socks off, and then be gassed for the next game or feel that sense of accomplishment. They need drive going into the Argentina game. They need something that's going to motivate them, something that's going to light a fire under their ass to recapture that Copa America spirit. Because right now, you have to imagine that they've got some vitriol in there, but there's probably a certain sense of defeat, right? Like we gave everything that we had and we still lost to Argentina. Now, that is not something to turn your nose up at, but when you're in the jaws of defeat, right? When you watch them, us lift that trophy again, it's got to be pretty damning, right? So I imagine that the most important thing to do here, at least what I would want, is I'm going to get my mental right. I'm going to come up. I'm going to get a good rep in, good, clean. I'm not going to go all out. I'm going to give it about 70%. And I want to leave with 3 points. That's my objective. No cards, 3 points, clean sheet. Boom.
That being said, I do think there's an opportunity for Peru to get maybe not their first win, but another good draw here, because we have no idea how Colombia are going to respond after coming so close, but ultimately failing at the Copa America. I mean, they could be a shell of their former selves now. We have no idea. Is Peru the team that's gonna force that destruction of Colombia? I don't think so. So we're both going 2-0 here. Let's move on to Argentina versus Chile at the Monumental in Buenos Aires. No Di Maria for this window. No Messi. Going up against arch rivals Chile coming into town. Last cycle, Argentina won this game 2-1. How do you see this one going down?
How do I see this one going? My man, my first note that I've got is Gareca and Chile have a lot to prove. They have a lot to prove here.
Yeah, they flopped at the Copa.
They flopped. And you know what? This, I think, I don't recall my exact quotes, but I think I was pretty happy with the way that they played in the Copa. I don't remember, though. What I do remember is that exit. That is what stays in your minds, right? They probably remember a certain amount of that, but the point is that the general zeitgeist says that you were a failure, right? At the Copa. You have a massive opportunity to send a message here, right? If you want to recapture whatever, vitriol you had or anger you had, from 2016, go and do it. I will state, though, they have not beat us since 2016. We took that personally. They have not beaten us. We've had some draws and some Argentine wins. So Chile's got their work cut out for them. What I have here, what I have listed down is an Argentina 2-0 victory. And it's at the Monumental. It's at the Monumental. I don't know what you want to say. Massive stadium. They're undergoing renovations. It is a pantheon to Argentine excellence, especially with River's form lately. I mean,
I have the same scoreline. I think Argentina is going to win 2-0. I think Chile are disturbingly reliant on Brereton Diaz, a player that Gareca still doesn't even seem to like very much. I think the defense is they're just there. It's just like planks of wood sometimes. I mean, if Bravo doesn't have a world-class performance, there's no way Chile pull a result here. I know some people will say there's no Di Maria.
Did Bravo retire?
Messi. Did he retire for the Copa America?
I think he retired this week. That may be for club football, but I'm pretty sure Claudio Bravo just retired.
Okay, well, I mean, they ain't got a prayer then. If Bravo really retired, they do not have a prayer. Argentina have scored 2 goals per game in their last 5 matches without Messi as well. So I'm not concerned about them finding a way to get this done at home. I think they're going to be just fine. And I honestly, for Chile, they're going to have to play this same game they played at the Copa America, only this time they're going to have to score. Echeverria is going to have to score from 30 yards out past Dibu, and I just do not see that happening. So I'm going with the 2-0.
I'm going with the 2-0 too. Now, I already know that we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's 2-0 score lines that we've predicted. That's not how Conmebol works. That's not how Conmebol works, right?
No.
There's going to be a draw. For sure. There's going to be a 1-0 in here somewhere, right? No Di Maria, no Messi. We're going to be playing quite conservative, especially with Lautaro and Alvarez not exactly. They don't have their shooting boots laced up right now. Alvarez is in the middle of a massive transition. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Man, everybody talking about Julian is just such a moron. Like, oh my God, it's been 3 games. Let's not go down. I mean, for fuck's
we don't have
sake,
to get there.
It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
He's heated because Atleti is playing right now. They're playing right now against Bilbao.
Bolivia versus Venezuela in Bolivia. Bolivia do have 3 points in qualifying so far. Their one result has been at home against Peru. They beat them 2-1. I think it was last window. Venezuela, 2 draws, 1 loss away from home. I've talked about this a lot on the channel. I feel like in Maturin, they're they're pretty close to invincible, but away from home, I'm still not convinced, and I'm still not convinced after the Copa America. I got a 1-1 draw here, and I'm almost leaning a Bolivian upset. I'm almost leaning Bolivia 2, Venezuela 1.
Tell me why you got a draw instead of a Venezuela win.
Because Venezuela haven't won away from home. I still think their offense is too reliant on counterattacking. And I think Bolivia is still Bolivia at home.
Yeah.
And they've already they're due for another like actually good result at home. Like beating Peru, the worst team in South America, is not a good result right now for Bolivia. I think they can get it done. And honestly, I
Right.
was a little encouraged, at least during parts of the Copa America, for Bolivia. I think defensively they're like still a disaster. And every time they have to leave La Paz, they're still a disaster. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Kind of a crushing way to go out for Venezuela as well at the Copa America against Canada on penalties. I don't know. I actually don't know what happened last cycle, what the score was. I can try to look that up, but
Here's where I'm at about it. Okay. Venezuela have got to get up for their next game after this. They play Uruguay after this. Contrary to Chile, they did not leave in embarrassment from the Copa America. You know,
correct.
They had some stuff to take home. They had some clout, they retained some aura, if you want to put it in Gen Z terms, right? What I'm going to say is that they're a lot more optimistic going into this, right? I'm thinking that they want a more offensive showing here. I know it's still Bolivia at home. I know that Venezuela is not a massive goal-scoring team, right? They rely on the counterattacks. I'm thinking that they open it up a bit because they know that Uruguay is looking vulnerable in their next match day. And they've got to get a rep against a good defense offensively to get those 3 points. So I'm thinking that they put that into practice now. They get up against this Bolivian defense that is going to just lock it down, right? Uruguay missing a massive amount of players in the next window. I think you want to get a good rep in. Yes, and I have it written down. It's still Bolivia at home.
Still Bolivia at home.
Is looking to recapture form. I think this is going to be a dogfight. Here. I don't see.
I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah,
like this will be an entertaining game. I looked it up. Bolivia won 3-1 last time in La Paz. I don't think anybody's scoring 3 on Venezuela right now. They're too good. They're too improved. I'm just saying. I got upset watch here.
Okay.
Either 1-1 draw, or I think the Bolivians edge it. If Venezuela beat Bolivia in La Paz, I'll be shocked. Mm-hmm. I will be.
I'll put a star by it. Just so that we can revisit this. I've got a 2-1 Venezuela victory here. I was going big. I won Venezuela on the up and up. This is something that I want to see. I'm definitely affected by bias here, right? But I want to see a Venezuela 2-1. I would love for them to get creative, get offensive, start opening it up. And sure, you concede one. You concede something against Bolivia at home. That's nothing. That's nothing to panic about, right? If anything, that's a good metric. It'll give you some notes on what to improve on against Uruguay. That's going to be a good metric, right? Mm-hmm. Here are your vulnerabilities. This is what we need to lock up on when we open up like this. This is a safe test, I feel like. Now, I do think that you need to score first here. If you're Venezuela, you need to score first. Because if Bolivia scores first, the game kind of changes. All of your opportunities are suddenly reduced from, feasible. Because I understand what I'm saying. This 2-1, that's an ask. That's a pretty big ask against Bolivia at home. If you concede first, it's damn near insurmountable. They're going to throw 15 guys in the box. FIFA's got, different regulations for Bolivia at home. They're going to let them bring on, I don't even know what, 4 of the biggest audience members, right? 4 of the biggest supporters there. They're going to be looking for the 6'3", 300-pound Bolivians.
That's a tall Bolivian. That's a tall Bolivian.
That ain't gonna happen. I don't even know. They're gonna look for some nationalized Colombians. Is what they're gonna be looking for.
Yeah.
The point is, it's a big ask. You've got to score first here. And I hope, in my ideal world, it would be goal, goal, goal. Venezuela, Bolivia, Venezuela. To me, that would be a good sample size. In a perfect world, I can learn things. That's how it ideally works out. Who knows if that happens? It depends on how Venezuela shows up on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that if we look at how Ecuador played when they went to La Paz, I would say offensively, Ecuador, Venezuela, similar strength level. And Ecuador did win the game 2-1 off of Kevin Rodriguez late winner, but it was like just it was like a Hail Mary pass from Moises Caicedo and just a complete breakdown defensively from Bolivia. I'm not a Venezuelan win isn't impossible, but that's a very, very good result for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
if they win, if Venezuela wins, that puts them on 12 points. In the entirety of the 2022 cycle, they had 10. So they would already surpass their 2022 points total in their 7th game.
I'm saying,
which would
dude,
show the improvement.
You need a statement. You need a statement here. You've got Uruguay next. That's a big, big game. I don't care if they're missing their starting 11.
That's the statement.
No, but this carries you into that. This is your what is it? It's your positioning foot. It's like your drop step that leads you into the layup. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to take you underneath the defense right back there. You got to get that. You got to get your feet set before you take the shot.
I just don't see it. I think the Bolivians get it done. Let's move on to Uruguay versus Paraguay in the Montevideo. Of course, there's no Darwin Nunez, Bentancur, Josema Araujo, or Matias Oliveira, all either suspended or injured in this one. Fun fact, Nunez is the top goal scorer and assist leader in the qualifiers, so that is a big, big omission. Little background here. Uruguay has not lost to Paraguay since 2007. That was 11 meetings ago between these two sides. But last cycle, it was a 0-0 draw in Montevideo. How do you think this one plays out this time?
These are two different teams. Now. And I hate to say it, but I think when it's all said and done, the dust is kind of cleared. Dude, I'm selling on Paraguay. I'm selling the Paraguay stock hard. They were not talked about nearly enough during this Copa cycle. That's on us. We didn't. I don't think we hit on them nearly as much as we needed to. We were too busy. With the sad sack routine for Peru, kind of selling on Chile. Paraguay.
Well, I think we called them one of the biggest losers from the Copa America.
See, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I remember.
Go check the tape.
It's not sticking in my head. To me, I was more focused on Peru, Chile, and the United States. That's what I had energy for.
Well, they got kicked out of the tournament so quickly, we didn't have a lot of opportunities to talk about them.
You're correct. And now here I am. I just want to rehash this really quickly. Paraguay didn't have positives to take out of the tournament. They did not. There was nothing really positive to come out. Okay.
I disagree.
What do you think?
Ramon Sosa, Julio Enciso looks like a very good combination going forward.
Okay, but it's to me, that's not cemented. That's not locked in. That's like maybe something to watch. Okay. It's a small positive for me. What I have written down here is that we need to see something from Enciso. I think that comes in their second game. Or no. I don't think that comes in their second game. Never mind.
Yeah, the second game is pretty damn tough.
It's Brazil.
This is the hardest window of any team, I think.
The point is they're coming towards the ghosts of their past again. They've got to rehash this. It's like what is it? What's a Christmas Carol? It's like a Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Where Scrooge sees all the different ghosts of Christmas present, Christmas future, Christmas past, etc. That's not something you really want to face right now in this position. But listen, I just think they're going to get beat up. I think they're still down bad after that Brazil loss. I don't think that they've shaken that yet. And I think that Uruguay is going to come out and try and assert themselves with their starters, losing. And Bielsa's not afraid of that. Bielsa's not afraid to not have his number one guys. He is a from grassroots all the way to the top kind of manager.
Disagree strongly.
Okay.
Strongly.
You can. Let me finish my point. So I think that obviously you want your starters in, but I don't think he's afraid to play around with some of the younger guys, especially not against Paraguay. And they're at home. Godspeed, Paraguay.
Give me a score.
I had a 2-0 here.
Okay. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I think Bielsa can be as unafraid as he wants. The fact of the matter is that this Uruguay side is honestly pretty terrible when their stars are not firing. I mean, we saw it at the Copa America. Their star players played well for 2 games and then fell off a cliff. And they were eliminated from the Copa America as a result. This team is incredibly reliant on Darwin Nunez. I mean, the fact that Bielsa has to pull this man in the third place game and throw on 46-year-old Luis Suarez, who saved them, by the way, in the third place game, to get a result, that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me. It's not just the offense. The top, what would you say, goal contributing player? Yeah, Nunez with 8 goal contributions. It's not just losing him. You've lost your entire back line, bro. Your entire back line is gone. I don't know who's going to start. Are they going to start Guates and what's my guy's name from America? Cáceres? I don't know. Probably. Who's going to start for Matías Oliveira? I guess Vina is going to go back in. I think there's a lot of misses here. De La Cruz has had a good start to the qualifying campaign, but it's been because of Darwin Nunez. And so I'm concerned from the Uruguayan side. I think Bielsa, maybe we're about to see. Maybe it's a case of his style of play is better for the qualifiers than it is the Copa America. That is entirely possible. I do not think Uruguay are going to get their ass kicked this window. And I do not think they are frauds. But I do think we might have seen Bielsa's level. I think we might have already seen the biggest concerns about the Bielsa appointment. On the Paraguayan side, let's not forget this is Gustavo Alfaro's first game in charge. This guy is going to come in with a defense-first mentality. You look at what he did with Ecuador, immediately improved them, got them to the World Cup. You look what he did with Costa Rica. He got them a draw against Brazil. A draw against Brazil at the Copa America. Now he's going to come into this Paraguay side. I'm going to be embarrassed for myself. Like, I'm going to drop a public apology if a Gustavo Alfaro-led Paraguay concede 4 goals in a game, like they did against Brazil at the Copa America. I'm gonna drop an apology, cell phone video on the Twitter, links in the description. Because I don't see that happening. I think he's gonna come in, seriously improve this Paraguay side. I think we saw the Ramon Sosa Enciso. I know you're saying you want to see more from Enciso, but he did give you a goal and an assist in one of the most trash teams at the Copa America. Like, he doing what he can. It's not his fault that the midfield is an embarrassment, that he's got Villasanti behind him throwing the game every single time. So I'm bullish that we got a couple new managers in this Conmebol cycle, Ecuador as well. I'm bullish on Alfaro to Paraguay. I think Paraguay their DNA is defensive. And now they're getting Alfaro. I think it's going to be back to what makes them scary. Ojo con Paraguay. And I think they still have those individual pieces offensively to really, really punish teams. I mean, Ramon Sosa going to the Premier League, like with Nottingham Forest, they're my team to watch this window because of how ass they were at the Copa America, because of the appointment of Alfaro, and because they have bar none the hardest window. Like, if they get something done against Uruguay and Brazil this window, dare I say Paraguay back, just like that. I don't know.
See, I'm sitting the same way that you were talking about Venezuela is kind of how I'm talking about, or that's my mentality going into Paraguay. Last time that they scored more than 1 goal in a game was in June of 2023. I understand it's a new manager. I understand whatever. Look, defense first. That's totally fine. Maybe that adjusts my score line here. Maybe it's not a 2-0. I think your argument against Uruguay, though, that they can't get anything done with their superstar or without their superstars when they're not firing, if those positions are not taken up by those superstars when they are out of form or not fitting into the game plan, I think that, to say that they're not able to do it with other guys, I don't really think that's fair. I think that's Bielsa's style. He wants to see the young guys. He wants to bring them up from the ground up. I'm looking for another opportunity here. This is a massive opportunity for Uruguay, just as much as it is for Paraguay. I think you raise a good point, right? They are one of the teams to watch. Definitely Alfaro. Yeah, correct. You should definitely take that into account, and that should be on your watch list. But I think I'm interested to see how Bielsa responds here, because I don't know if we've seen this
And
level.
that's totally fine. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. There's a lot to take away from this game.
There is a ton. There's a ton.
A ton.
This
If
also
Uruguay-
might be trash. This could also be the
It could be the worst game of the window.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whichever
I mean,
game
it's
we
got-
stream, worst game of the window. So we're not watching
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. If I promise you, if we watch this game, it's 0-0. I promise you.
Yeah.
One shot on target the entire 90 minutes. And Ciso off injured. Guaranteed. If we live stream this game. I want to know, throwing down the gauntlet to Uruguay, where the goal is coming from. If
Yeah.
Suarez comes on and scores
Correct.
2, okay. If Fede decides to bang one in from 30 yards out, okay. I don't got a problem. This Paraguay side, we'll see. It's a fascinating game for me. We should move on to the last game from week 7. Juicy one here. Brazil versus Ecuador in Brazil. Now, insane stat. How many losses do you think Brazil has against Ecuador all time?
Two?
Yeah, they've lost twice ever.
Wow.
27 wins for Brazil, 2 wins for Ecuador. Now, granted, the last 2 meetings between these sides have been draws. But the last World Cup cycle, Brazil won this fixture 2-0 at home. This is very difficult for me to assess because I'm very familiar with Alfaro because I've seen him a lot as an international manager. Ecuador's new manager, I don't got a clue. I just know people seemed pretty pessimistic about the appointment. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm going to tell you from the jump, I got Brazil taking this one. I think it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be 1-0 or 2-0. But I think they're going to get it done. What you got to say?
I got a 1-0. I got a 1-0.
1-0?
1-0. And you know what? Let me just start. Let me just get it.
Okay, go in. Yep.
Both of the teams are fresh off of penalty losses, right? In the Copa America. This will be the best defense that Brazil has faced since Argentina in 2023, when Otamendi scored that header. They have not faced a better defense than this. They have not. No. And Estupiñán is back. Hincapié, I would also look out for him. The way that man was crying on the bench and the fact that he hasn't announced a retirement yet,
he's cooking something?
There's still some fight left in that dog. I don't know if he's cooking something. I don't know what that looks like with the new manager. He might not even get a start under the new manager. I don't know. I mean, he has to, right? But it's all up in the air. We don't know much. We don't know much right now. I don't really know how this goes. I don't know how Brazil is going to respond, because I think we said coming out of the Copa America that Junior has the hottest coaching seat in South America. He has the hottest coaching seat in South America now.
We said him, Felix Sanchez, Jimmy Lozano, top 3. 2 of those have been sacked.
And then there was one. Let's see how he responds. This is going to have to be a big game. Or this is a big game for Brazil. This is a big game for Brazil. This is a big game for Junior. This is a big game for Vinicius. This is a big game for Endrick. It's a big game for everybody. Let's see how it goes. There is also a world where Ecuador just shuts it down and pulls a Bolivia at home. They throw 15 men into the box. They leave with 1 point. That might be their best sort of way to figure this out. I don't know. All I know is that Estupiñán got some minutes. You know my bias is kicking in there. If that man plays, it brings a completely different element to Ecuador's game. It can completely shift the way that they play. So Brazil is preparing for 2 game plans right now. If they're not, they should be. And we'll see how it goes. I really couldn't call it. I think betting odds, if I had to put money on it, I'd say Brazil edges this one out. I'm thinking a 1-0. I'm thinking a 1-0. But I could also see an Ecuador 1-0.
I think an Ecuador 1-0. I think Junior gets fired.
Yeah.
He gets fired mid-window. If Ecuador win this game, he's fired.
Yep.
This, to me, we're talking about the second best defense in the Americas going up against an incredibly wasteful but high volume offense. So what does that result in? Let us know in the comments. But for me, if Brazil want to win this game, I mean, no, I'm not dropping any knowledge gems here. You got to score. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. Ideally, you do it in the first 10 minutes, and then the floodgates might open. But, I mean, when was the last time Ecuador got blown out? Probably when Paraguay beat them 3-0 last cycle. It's a long time ago. And Brazil have already dropped points to Venezuela at home. Why did they drop points to Venezuela at home? Because they had 39 shots and only 1 goal. If that happens again, you leave the door open, of course, for Ecuador, who have the scariest center backs, probably from like a set piece standpoint, them or Argentina. They can nick one. And we could be looking at a 1-1. I think if it's a 1-1 too, I think you're looking at Junior and you're like, ooh, boy, if you don't win the next game 4-0, you gone. And
I think even
help me with this. Help me with the guy's name, Bacasese for Ecuador. Is that how you pronounce it? He's Argentine. Becasese, I think is how you say it. Or Besasese. I'm not sure. I don't know if the double C is the K.
Becasese, I think.
Becasese. I think it's Becasese.
I believe.
We're going to roll with Becasese for the rest of the video. Corrections in the comments. My man hasn't done anything since Defensa y Justicia like 6 years ago. Like that was a success story. Racing, they didn't like him a lot. Elche, he failed. This is his first international stint. We have, like, I don't even like talking about this much because we have no idea what he's gonna do. Does he roll out a back 5? He could roll out a back 3. And then we're like, okay. Well, then our entire analysis was out the window. So let's not even pretend like we know what he's gonna do.
We were so wrong. Yeah.
We were so wrong. I will say, if Becasese gets a draw in Brazil in his first game, woo! Oh, the haters going to be real quiet. They're going to be real quiet. At least for 24 hours until he goes on to lose against, I think they have Peru next. Yeah. So, Becasese, I mean, Brazil away in a qualifier, that's one of the toughest debut matches a manager can have. So Godspeed to him. I do think the Ecuadorian talent alone and the fact that Brazil are in purgatory, I think it's enough to keep this respectable.
Yeah.
Let's move on to week 8, match day 8. Let's just get the big one out of the way, man. Colombia versus Argentina in the Barranquilla.
Colombia, Argentina.
Rematch of the Copa America final. This was a 2-2 draw in the Barranquilla. Last time around, Argentina went up 2-0 in the 8th minute before Colombia battled back to equalize in the 94th minute. I think it was Borja who scored it. I don't remember. What do we think for this one? Is this the match of the window?
No, not if you ask me.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a boring ass match.
Can you tell me what you think the match of the window is?
Match of the window. That's a tough one, man.
I think I got mine. You want mine?
You think so? I think I like
match
Venezuela,
of the window down below
Uruguay.
in the comments. Yep.
Venezuela,
that's the
Uruguay.
One. I think that's the one.
And potentially Brazil versus Ecuador. But that's because I like good defense.
No, that's Tortuga ball. 100%. If we get a 3-2 Brazil, Ecuador, I'm going to be flabbergasted.
Nah, see, but I'm thinking like a 1-0, but I'm thinking like tons of clearances and headers, chase down blocks, and Estupinian running havoc on the wing. Like I don't know. That's an ideal world, but I'm thinking
Yeah, that is
Venezuela
an
wins
ideal
one.
world. Okay. Okay. So tell me how you think Colombia, Argentina goes down.
Colombia, Argentina. You know what? I think a lot of this depends on the two Martinezes, Lisandro and Lautaro. If they're not doing well, I think it's going to be tough for Argentina. If you don't have confidence in Lisandro in the back line, I just don't really see Argentina playing progressive ball or feeling comfortable to do that, right? And I think we might see them just as they were in the Copa America. I think it might just be business as usual. I think they might just be clocking in at the office. Okay, Messi's not here. Maybe Di Maria shows up for a little despedida, right? So we say goodbye to him, but he's not touching the field, right? At least
No.
not kitted up. So yeah, I think that the impetus is going to be completely on Colombia to overturn whatever sort of structure that Argentina puts in place. I think that we are going to play the Python game where we try and wrap around. We get in our formation. We just choke the life out of them again, just like we did in the Copa America final. I think it's going to be round 2. Can Colombia surmount that? Do they have any gas left in the tank? Right? What happens if Argentina wins here? I think this might say a lot about the state of things in Conmebol if Argentina comes out
Yep.
with another victory like that. So yeah,
Yep.
I'm just very interested to see what Colombia does. But what I think is going to happen is the ball is going to get pinged around midfield. It's going to go all the way back to Argentina's back line, and it's going to be a slow buildup. It's going to be boring as hell. Boring as hell. Boring as hell. I don't know. Nico Gonzalez is at Juventus now. Maybe he feels like playing some footy, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
So what's your score?
I've got a 0-0, 1-1. I think this is a certified draw, and I'm looking at 0-0 is what I'm looking at.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking, oh God, this 0-0 is such a good pick. God, that's such a good pick.
It's an easy pick. Like
It's
just
almost
if you
inevitable.
think about it. It's almost inevitable, right? Because everybody's going to have this. Listen to me. This is Conmebol. Everybody's going to have this picked to be the match of the window, and you know what happens. You know what happens in Conmebol there.
We've seen this movie so many times. Yep.
We've seen this movie. There is too much to lose here. Yeah. Colombia, it has to pick right now between their pride and honor or if they want a point to take down the table. And I think your pride and honor takes you through the first half. Once you get into like the, I don't even know, 58th minute, that's when that 1 point starts looking real good. That's when it starts looking real, real good. And you say, you know what, let's work on the fundamentals.
I'm going to say, I think if Colombia blitzkrieg Peru in that first game, I think they win 1-0 here. If they come out and they look shaken, 0-0 draw for sure. For sure. I was looking at the history books. Colombia's last win against Argentina in qualifying was 2007. It was 4 cycles ago. So it is just not a smart bet to go Colombia. I think I'm just going to be different from you. I'm going to say Colombia win this one 1-0 because it'd be a good story. I think they can get a redemption game. Do I really believe what I'm saying? Not really. I hope that Lorenzo learns from his mistakes at the Copa America final. I think it was the worst game from Luis Diaz, probably in Colombian history. I think James was a ghost. I think Lorenzo's substitutions were an abomination. And I like to think that everybody, both players and managers, are ready to run it back. And I don't trust Nico Gonzalez to do anything filling in for Di Maria, who was very good in the Copa America final. So that's why I kind of think things are going to go down differently, but am not stunned in the slightest if this is a draw. Yeah, I think this game's going to suck. I think it's going to suck. So will we do a live stream? Remains to be seen. Chile versus Bolivia in Santiago. You want a stat here. Chile has never lost to Bolivia at home, ever. It's a hell of a stat.
That's insane. I mean, not really when you think about it, but just to have like a clean sheet against, or maybe not a clean sheet, so to speak, but an unblemished record at home.
Unblemished. Yeah. Like not even one time did Bolivia catch you slipping.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. This was, however, a 1-1 draw last cycle, which is kind of shocking and is probably one of the main reasons that Chile did not qualify. You cannot drop points to Bolivia at home in Conmebol. That's just it's got to be a 3 points here. How do you think this one's going to go down? Does Gareca get his first win in qualifying?
I think that Chile is in free fall right now. Chile collapsed and they are just plummeting, skyrocketing, or not skyrocketing, quite the opposite, right? They are plummeting straight down, nosedive. They're in a tailspin. I don't think that will be corrected playing against Argentina. This is their first real opportunity, their first feasible opportunity to stop their collapse. They're reaching frantically for the parachute cord right now. You got it on your back. You got it on your back. You got a built-in parachute in Gareca. Even if your team's trash, you have Gareca there. Grab that sucker, rip the ripcord, and let's stop this descent because it's Bolivia away from home.
Catch the falling knife.
Catch the falling knife like this. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't reach out one hand. It's a clap, right? You've got the technique. You've got the form. You've got the minerals to do it. It's not a hard opponent. Just fundamentals. Fundamentals right here. You just play your game. Do, recapture some semblance of what you did against the Europeans. Let's see. I think that they have the capability to do this. The onus is completely on them. It's one of those things. I remember back in high school, I did not have a good run of it with grades. I just, really just struggled with maintaining a solid GPA and getting just good grades and just doing the work, right? And I would constantly, complain to my parents, or we would have knockdown, drag out fights about why. But I had bad grades in English when we were studying Shakespeare. I did that professionally for years. So it's not like I couldn't do it, right? I think it's the same deal here. The impetus, the onus, the responsibility is completely on them.
This is a hilarious comparison.
It only changes when you change, when you decide it's going to change. So
is Alexis Sanchez at 35 years old going to change?
No, but you have guys there that could change.
Yeah, Eric Pulgar could stop being ass cheeks. That'd be nice.
Yeah, correct. Or Brereton Diaz could put on a clinic here. You're telling me that you don't see Diaz scoring a brace here? I say this is prime opportunity. Do something.
Oh, he feasts on Bolivia, dude.
Let's see it then. Let's see it. I know he's not doing anything at Southampton. I watched him today. Cut your hair. Not you.
Hey, my boy Sugawara got a goal.
It's not
Did
Diaz.
He start today?
Who? Sugawara?
Diaz.
I think he did. I was watching the first half. I thought I saw him in there.
Okay, he started the first game. Anyways, what's your score for this one?
For this one, dude, I didn't have a score here. This is one of the ones that I didn't write a score down for, and I don't know why. I'm thinking, though, just giving it the eye test here. Dude, I feel like my score lines have been too exciting. I've had too many 2-0s. Does that ever get you?
Yeah.
Where you're like, this
can't all be true.
Lot. You know what, Stuart? I'm gonna go another 2-0. 2-0 Chile.
God, that's what I had too. Damn.
You know what? Then I'll be different. I'll say 1-0. I don't think Diaz has a 2-0 because I've got him on my fantasy team. I'm watching him. No, I think it's a 1-0.
I just think Chile at home is still very, very strong.
Yeah,
so wasteful though. If they can get back to pre-Copa America, like Gareca's first couple games in charge, they could win 3-0.
Yes.
Like they have the potential to kill Bolivia here. I'm gonna go 2. I can't decide between 3 and 1, so I'm gonna split the difference and just say 2 here. I just
2. Okay. And I'll be the pessimist. I'll take the mental here. 1-0.
they have to win. They have to
They
win, or
have
the
to win.
Gareca appointment is looking
This is a must
very
win.
questionable. Yeah.
The
It's a must
Gareca
win.
appointment is looking questionable. After Copa America,
Mhm,
it is what it is.
mhm.
The streets are already talking. This is the time. Now is the time. Nobody's going to expect anything from Argentina. Don't get red card or put Alexis Sanchez out there. Let's see some shithousery. Let's see it. Get a red card.
Yeah.
Hurt
Yeah.
somebody. I don't know. Look, and I'm saying that against Argentines right now. I don't want anybody to get injured, but that is ideally what you would want.
Yeah, this one's gonna be crazy. Okay, Ecuador versus Peru in Quito. Last cycle, Ecuador actually lost this game 2-1, which was also their last loss at home back in 2021. So it's been a minute since Ecuador
Wow.
suffered a home defeat.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this game, depending on what Becasese, depending on what Becasese does tactically, Ecuador's either winning 2-0 or it's, dude, it could be, oh my gosh, because Fossati, it's just going to be terrorist ball. Like, that's guaranteed. Guaranteed terrorist ball from the Peruvians.
I got a crazy stat.
You got a bombazo here?
Yeah, I got
okay.
a bombazo. This is my biggest score line of the window, or second biggest. I think it's a 3-0. Ecuador.
They kill him.
I want them to kill him. You know, my one note here, Kendry, it's your chance to shine. I want to see it. I saw you in the Bombonera. What happened? Advíncula is just, I guess he's just that guy. Is it going to be a return? Is Advíncula just going to shut you down again? Or is he banned from this game? He didn't get a red, right? No, I'm thinking he got a red for Boca. Yeah.
For Boca.
He was injured.
He barely played the Copa America. 3-0 Ecuador. Wow.
I think Hincapié comes out. This is his opportunity. You ready? It's time.
Time for what? He's been their best player for like 2 years.
Yeah, I know. But he's not getting the results. I'm thinking of him crying on the bench. You want your revenge?
I mean, he's a left back, or center back. What do you want him to do?
Oh, no, dude. What am I thinking of? Oh, my God. Not Hincapié. Oh, my God. They're 9.
Enter Valencia?
Valencia. I can't believe I've been conflating Hincapié and Valencia.
Yeah, they don't look too similar.
No, they don't.
You think Valencia's opportunity is now at 34 years old?
Dude, I'm thinking of seeing him crying on the bench. Yeah, I want him out there. His job is now. He does not make the next World Cup. He doesn't make a Copa America. It was his last try. No. That's why he's crying on the bench. So what he can do is help them qualify. That's his job now. Go pad your stats. Get out there.
Oh, this is crazy. I think I'm going to... God, am I going with another 2-0? No, you know what? I think Ecuador wins 1-0. I think they win 1-0. I cannot give big score lines until I see how they're going to play under this guy. And I don't think Fossati Peru is going to get blown out by anybody worse than... Like, you got to be like Colombia, Argentina, Uruguay offense level, I think. I don't think the smaller Conmebol teams are blowing out this Fossati side. Just because it's the definition of aggressive. But we'll see. Venezuela versus Uruguay in Maturin. 0-0 draw last cycle. Which is kind of crazy because Venezuela were abysmal last time and they still got the draw at home against Uruguay. But without the Uruguayan big guns, this gets really interesting. Really, really interesting. What do you think?
I just really like the idea of a Venezuelan headline that says something along the lines of giant slayers at home. Because nobody at the end of this cycle is going to remember that Uruguay didn't have their players for this game.
Yeah.
And if Venezuela does do that big ask that I'm looking for and pull away with a win against Bolivia at home, they could be bloodlusted. They could be on a rampage. This could be
They're
exactly
cooking,
what they
yeah.
need to recapture their momentum and their form. So get your feet set with the Bolivia game. I genuinely think that might be harder than this Uruguay game. I'm calling a 1-0 Venezuela,
Okay.
but
I
it
like
could be
that.
a 3-2.
This could be a shootout.
This could be a shootout.
God, dude, I'm remembering the Uruguay 2-2 with the Barranquilla against Colombia, and I'm just thinking, like, do we get that again? Do we get a 2-2?
But look. I'm gonna flip the switch on you. I'm gonna use the same argument you used for me the last Uruguay time. What are they rocking with their personnel? I don't think this is a team. Look, Bielsa can marshal the guys. I don't think it's a team, even at full strength. He cannot score and defend at the same time. He's doing one or the other. I'm hoping he opens it up. I'm hoping he opens it up and says, screw it. FIFA screwed us here. Conmebol screwed us here. We're missing our guys. Let's just go out there. Go out there and have some fun.
God, this score is so tough. It's so tough. Because I know they don't have Nunez. But I don't think they're going to struggle offensively for 2 games in a row. But that Venezuelan defense that's the thing. Like, it's a good defense. It's a very strong defense. But if Uruguay, I mean, Bielsa will determine this game. If he goes for it, this is, there's bullets flying all over the place. Pelestri, Araujo versus Aramburu. And I forgot my guy's name, the left back for Venezuela. Woo! I mean, oh my gosh, I have no idea how I see this going down. I have no idea what is going to happen in this game. I love the Venezuela win. Is that your official? You're going Venezuela 1, Uruguay nothing?
I'm calling a 1-0, but I'm really hoping for a 3-2.
Oh my. 3-2 would be insane. Oh, have Uruguay been held scoreless in the game? God damn, but they don't have their players. Oh, this one is tough, dude.
This one is
tough.
Oh,
this is a disaster. Okay, just for the sake of time, I'm gonna say, Batista is good at home, isn't he? Are we both gonna take Venezuela winning?
This is a must-win for Uruguay. I will say that because they are 1 point ahead of Colombia. And Colombia, do they take a win this window?
No, I think they beat Peru in Lima.
So then you've either got to win or you got to tie.
I think Uruguay is too strong. Like, when they get their players back, they'll make it up. Now, I think if Venezuela get the dub here, I think they're qualified. Like, I know it's still early, but we're halfway done, damn near. You'll be sitting on either what?
That would put them in contention with Uruguay. That would put them maybe not necessarily 4th, or they are 4th now, excuse me. That would not necessarily jump them up to 3rd, but they'd be battling for 3rd with Uruguay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'd have to collapse in qualifying.
Yeah.
If they take 4 from this window, or maybe even 6. If they beat Bolivia away and Uruguay at home, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is tough. I think Venezuela. Follow me on Twitter for the official. I'm gonna say for now that they edge it. They edge it because I'm remembering when Ecuador beat Uruguay away, but Uruguay were also missing a lot of players that game. But they're missing a lot of players now for this game, and it's Venezuela at home. I think they're, until somebody beats them in Maturin, I'm just gonna keep saying that they're invincible there. So yeah, I think worst case we're looking at a draw. I think Venezuela. I'm gonna go 2-1. I think Venezuela get it 2-1. Last game to talk about: Paraguay versus Brazil in Asunción. Brazil just put the beat down on them 4-1 at the Copa America. their best game at the Copa America. Paraguay, again, big question mark with the new manager. Last cycle, Paraguay lost this game 2-0 in Asunción. What you got?
You want just a flat score line first?
Yeah,
I'm going to
do
do
a flat score line first.
I got a 3-1 Brazil.
Oh,
I think they're coming back. I don't think Paraguay's making any massive shifts. And I think Brazil's going to be out for blood regardless of what happens for Junior. And regardless of their first game. And frankly, I think Brazil wants to leverage whatever sort of hold they have on Conmebol. Anything that they have, they're using it right now. They're saying, we've been here. We know this territory. We did it before. Let's run it back up again. Let's do it back. Bring it back one more time. This is a victory lap. I don't think that the Paraguayans will have very much optimism coming into this game. And I think that the Brazilians are looming. They are looming for them. They are dreading this. I don't think there's a world where Paraguay comes away with a win, and I think they know that, and the Brazilians are comfortable there. They said, we've been getting beat up on. It's not looking good for us. We're taking 3 points here. We're going to beat up on them.
Okay.
You know, it's like they've been getting smacked around, so they're going to bring that to the office today. They're going to say, you know, we've been getting bullied. We're going to take it out on you.
Interesting. I'm going to take the other angle. I think this is a 0-0 draw. I think Paraguay locks it down. They get a 0-0 again because my bet is that it's return to the defensive form of Paraguay that everybody's afraid of, and I'm not convinced by this Brazil side. Called it at the Copa America. They weren't doing anything. They didn't do anything until they do something. Until Neymar comes back and he's the golden child once again, or Endrick starts popping off for the national team. I don't think you go to Asunción and get points. I don't. I think Alfaro is gonna look at this game and be like, if I can keep a clean sheet here, the boys will buy in to my system completely. And they'll trust me again. Not again, but they'll trust me.
You raise a good point.
So
you raise a good point. This isn't elimination. You know, they're not fighting to make it out of the group stage here. They're going to be playing a lot more pragmatic.
I don't think Paraguay gets their ass beat in Asunción. Like, when was the last time they got murdered at home? I would have to check the books. I really don't know what their worst loss was last cycle at home.
I think here's my thing. I think that for, you know, a team that isn't like legendary at home, they don't have that status. It's not an accolade that everybody knows about. I'm taking their home status into account less than I am the context surrounding this, right? So new manager, pragmatism, you're kind of all the way down there on the table. You're just looking to get some sort of momentum here, or at least to stop the free fall. Brazil, you're not going to open it up, right? You don't have to score here. Nobody says that you have to score a goal here. So you can put 100% of your effort into frustrating the Brazilians. And I completely agree, right? A draw at home is going to give them something that gives them a better silver lining than, you know, 1 goal and, you know, 2 goals against. So there's no point in opening it up. I think I'm going to rock with you. I'm going to adjust my score here because they don't stand to gain anything by creating offensive vulnerability or defensive vulnerabilities for the Brazilians. So yeah, I think we're going to see some terrorist ball here. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to adjust to a 1-1. What do you think?
Yeah, we can see that. We can see a 1-1. I just realized I have Paraguay getting 2 draws against Uruguay and Brazil, so that's a big window for Paraguay. Like,
it's a big window.
I'm really betting on y'all. Don't let me down. Do not make me look like a fool when we have to do the window recap, please. That will make me. It's a big window. Yeah, that make them. I'm not gonna say biggest dub of the window to get 2 points here, but they would certainly look better than Chile.
If you get 2 draws, I think that might be the biggest dub. You know what? Colombia has potential to get some dubs here. What is it?
Yeah.
Who
They
else
take
do you
6
think?
here.
If who stands the most to gain from this window? Can we close out on that question?
Let us know in the comments your nominees. There's a lot of ways you can take this. I'm going to say Paraguay for kind of like a restoration of identity. I think you could also take the Ecuador example, though, because they hated Felix Sanchez. The football was dead. If they come out and they beat Peru and get a result against Brazil, massive
Pretty
for
massive
them.
for them.
It's pretty massive.
I think
we could also say Chile.
I was going to say, you got to look at Chile and Venezuela. These guys, they were kind of electric going into the Copa, pretty damning for one of them and then disappointing for another. You stand a lot to gain here. But I just don't see a world where Chile beats Argentina. I do, however, I think the most realistic is Venezuela. Venezuela against a weak Uruguay and Bolivia. I know it's Bolivia at home, but that's a big, tough window, but it's doable. I think it's doable for them. I'm really betting on them.
The only reason I'm going to disagree, I think Venezuela is still a good nominee, but the reason I can't go one is because they're already the darlings of this campaign. They're already the surprise pick. So I think if they win again, well, you're still the surprise pick. I think Ecuador, it's like, what? And Paraguay, it's like, well, what the hell are we going to see here? Even Colombia, like you just made the Copa America final and had a 28-game unbeaten streak. If you beat Argentina, maybe you're proving that you got the monkey off your back, but are you really proving you're a good team? Is anybody still doubting that after their road to the final, after beating Spain? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's doubting that anymore.
You don't think that they're looking for staying power here? I think that it's a big, the first window after a tournament. Hear me out. The big first window after a tournament is massive because it sets the tone. It says, hey, this wasn't a fluke, or this was a fluke. That was the tournament. This is how we play. This is how we play regularly. This is a different competition you're in now. We need to assert ourselves again. There was just some chaos. The dust is settled. We got to see who's on top of the mountain again. And I think that's big for Venezuela. But I would agree with you that, I don't know, what you said stuck with me. They are the surprise pick. They're the darlings. They're the dark horses. And everybody knows it. What changes if they come away with 6 points here?
I'm thinking who emerges from the shadows. Because I think Paraguay and Chile are in the shadows right now. So I think they have a lot to gain.
I think Chile, I think you could also make a conversation for Uruguay. If Uruguay shows up and makes 2 statement wins, and they say, hey, we don't need our guys to do this. Bielsa's re-cemented as a coach. The faith is driven into him. The starters are going to have to fight for their spots again, right?
Yep.
And you have more confidence going into the next window, which is not a far ways away. It's in October.
Yeah.
It's in October. This is
we're right back here,
from
folks.
Before the Copa America. Yeah. 2 months, 3 months in between windows. No. We don't have to do that anymore. We're out here. We're a month away. I think it's less than 30 days. No, it's exactly 30 days away, right? Because it's like the 10th to the 10th or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. Or 7th to the 10th.
But
so
no, you're right. You're right. I think of the big boys, I think Uruguay would have a lot to win, or I guess to earn here by beating Paraguay. And if you're the first one to take down Venezuela and Maturin, the new look Venezuela, like we're still daddy. I think that's a big statement.
Yeah.
I think that's a big statement. But very curious to hear what the audience thinks is the team with the most to win, most to gain during this window. Let us know down below in the comments. Guys, make sure you hit subscribe so you do not miss any potential live streams we do for these World Cup qualifiers and our Conmebol qualifying window recap, which we will drop, a couple of days after the window concludes. A lot of storylines here, a lot of narratives. I'm very excited actually for the recap, so we get to see which predictions did we get right and what surprises kind of popped out of nowhere. Drop a like in the video if you guys enjoyed. Last reminder, if you're listening on streaming platforms, please give the podcast a 5-star rating. Couple ratings away from 100. That would make both Connor and I very, very happy. Check out our social media links in the description of this video so you know if we end up doing any live streams, either for Conmebol or any other World Cup qualifiers. And we'll see you guys in the next one.